Living in Japan has honestly been a dream coming true, with the decision of moving here being the biggest decision that I have made so far in my adult life. However, on social media there seems to be this misconception that Japan is this wonderful fairy tale land. Today I'm going to talk about the common misconceptions that people seem to have about this country, and also what it's overall really like to live here. Today it's my goal to give you a realistic view on living in Japan. Hello and ikimashou. Weird flags. One of the biggest things that I have been seeing going around on the internet, and the misconception that most people have, is that Japan is this weird country. I think this is mostly to blame from places like social media, where the weird things usually perform exceptionally well. However, these few workplaces don't represent the whole country. And from my experience, 99.9% of these places like maid cafe, poop museums and robot hotels can be found in Tokyo, with their clientele mostly consisting out of foreign customers. I know many Japanese people who have never set foot in a maid cafe or a robot hotel or something of the sort. Speaking about robots, let's talk about the second biggest misconception. Back to the future. Online, Japan always seems to get this technical utopia kind of status. And with Sony bringing a camera to the market every day, I can sure see why there is some confusion. And with TikTok, Instagram and YouTube being full with videos of why Japan is living in the future, I'm very aware that most people would probably disagree. But hear me out, because I have a couple of experiences that would suggest otherwise. First off, my experience as working as an English teacher at a Japanese junior high school, where in the Netherlands the school boards have been digitalized almost already 15 years ago. Most of the schools in Japan, as well as the one that I used to work at, still use chalkboards to this day. At my school, you could at least still use a beamer to project the things on the board that you wanted to show from your laptop. But this is definitely not the case everywhere. Secondly, the things that are done through paperwork. It's actually insane. Whether that is applying for a visa or getting a cash card, there are a lot of things that have not been digitalized yet. And you can imagine how difficult this is if you are not fluent in the language. Talking about Japanese, how badly do you actually need a language barrier? Many people seem to be under the impression that navigating throughout Japan without any Japanese is an impossible feat. However, in my experience, this has actually not been the case. And I think in recent years it has become easier and easier. Where 12 years ago Romaji was nowhere to be found, now every traffic sign has the Roman alphabet on it too. Especially in cities like Tokyo, but also in the countryside, there often can be found an English translation, though it might not always be 100% accurate. It doesn't stop there though. Menus also often tend to have English. Although when this is not the case, the food often tends to be better. Maybe this is because these places have enough regular customers and don't need the foreign tourist coming to their shop. One of the things that is also really difficult with the language barrier being there is making friends. Before we be getting on with this awesome list, let's get on with the comment of the week. So this week the comment of the week is from Kokoro Compass, and he says, "Great vlog, I also walked that path to the dam. The view is really nice from there. It was also the first and only time I saw a snake in Tokyo." Now, I would not know how I personally would react if I saw a big snake laying around. I'm pretty coward when it comes to that. Thanks for sharing your experience, but let's get on with the video. The Lone Ranger. Something I hear many foreigners living in Japan struggling with is loneliness. And also it being difficult to make real friends and connections. And unfortunately, I have found myself that this is true. But in my experience, this is more the case so in the city than it is in the countryside. Japanese people tend to be very busy, especially in places like Tokyo, Osaka and Kyoto, so the bigger cities. Add the possible language barrier and people simply don't have the time to open up to you. And they usually stick with their friends group from either university, junior high or high school. And this is the main reason why I think foreigners gravitate towards each other in places like Tokyo. On the other hand, I can say that I had a great experience living with Japanese people in the countryside. And I can definitely say that I became a part of their little community. I was probably known as that one weird English teacher. Talking about English teaching, let's talk about the job market. Are you hired? Japan, a country with a working force of around 69.3 million people. You would think that there are more than enough jobs to choose from. Unfortunately, this is not the case. And with the English proficiency in Japan being one of the lowest all around the world, most foreigners living here choose for the option to teach English in schools, including me. The easiest job position for a foreigner to take, as other jobs often require certain skill set and a certain language proficiency. But even if you know the language, there are many things that you have to consider when switching companies in Japan. As Japanese companies often tend to value different kind of things than Western companies. And before you know it, you are part of a workforce that is underpaid, overworked and stressed out. Something you don't have to stress over: where is the closest safe haven? Japan is so safe. I have never been to a safer place like Japan. Children can easily go to school by themselves. And I can leave my stuff on the table of a cafe, no problem. It is really a testimony to how safe Japan is. And Japan ranking number 9 in the world of safest countries. It is definitely true. And actually last year when I lived in the countryside, I didn't even have a key to lock the room. I just left it open. So you can definitely be assured that it is a safe country. Of course there are scams in places like Shibuya, and you have to watch out for these kind of touristy scams, but overall you will have a safe experience. One thing that is just as good as the safety here is healthcare. An apple a day. Although Dutch healthcare is definitely better in every way, shape or form, in my opinion, the Japanese healthcare is pretty good, where your insurance usually covers for about 70% of all the costs. However, not many healthcare professionals will be able to speak English, so that's definitely difficult. When I went to the doctor, I have had one doctor that spoke English to me, and I visited the doctor now 3 times, and the other 2 times there was not an English speaking person in the whole building at that moment. But they will struggle to help you in the best way possible. So is it really that bad? I don't think so. If you really like this kind of content, then we definitely recommend you to check out this video about 10 things that are normal in Japan but aren't in your country. Thanks for watching.